Yeah. One thing, I don't know why. It doesn't even matter how hard you try. Keep that in mind. I designed this rhyme to explain in due time.
All I know.
Time is a valuable podcast.
Oh,
and that's
hey.
what we're doing right now,
Oh,
James.
hello.
We're back on the Drop Some Knowledge podcast. And what a way to start.
Yeah.
What a way to start.
With a beatbox.
Beatbox and spitting fire bars, I think the youth say.
Damn lyrics.
Yes,
No.
yes. You know, I'm up with youth culture.
I'm not.
Oh, yes, I know. So I'm trying
I'm
to...
trying.
You're not. You're not.
No.
Name one thing that the youth do.
Buy Adele albums.
What? No,
she's got heaps of
that's not the demographic.
She's got heaps of Grammy awards. I don't know.
Yes. Okay. Well, James is clearly out of touch.
Hello.
Me, on the other hand, completely in touch. Like a 1930s priest.
Cause every time we touch, I get this feeling. But every time we kiss, I swear I could fly. Can you feel my heart?
We music a lot.
We do.
But you know what we don't do enough of?
What?
Knowledge.
It's true, actually. How many episodes are we up to?
It's over 40 now.
Is it over 40?
It's over 40, yes.
We've been doing this a while.
Yeah, our podcast is like, it should really have its lives together by now.
It really should. It really should. And do you know where you can sample its life, Josh?
No, where?
You could sample it on YouTube where
What's
you'll see
that?
my face being so surprised by the fact that we're over 40 of them. You can also listen to us at all those crazy podcasting places, like you've got
You got it.
Google, Apple Podcasts, Google, Spotify.
And the app for the
iHeartRadio.
youth. James, what app helps the youth find us?
The talks.
The
Tickety Talk Talks.
Yes, TikTok.
Follow
us or die.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, let's try and change the trajectory of this podcast, where
Okay.
usually we don't teach people dag nabbit.
Oh,
All right?
Well.
Let's just teach them diddly squat. this
Okay, I
time,
do like a
James.
bit of diddly squat.
Ew.
Oh.
Yuck. It sounds like it's dripping.
You might need some antibiotics after this.
You can get an ointment. Can I borrow that ointment, actually?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
And you got to be careful with that ointment because the ancient Egyptians used the ointment, Josh,
Oh, my God.
for mummification.
Ah, yes.
We're talking
Yes,
mummification. There it is.
There's. Did you know the Egyptians?
Oh, here we
James?
go.
Yeah. Did you know the Egyptians, when they do that walk with their arms like a Z,
Yeah.
it's half a swastika? I apologize. Go on.
So,
So, a bit hoarse.
why the long face?
Whoa.
The ancient Egyptians, Josh.
Yeah.
There was a great movie that I used to love watching with a
Brendan
Mr.
Fraser?
Brendan
Yes!
Fraser called The Mummy.
World's best CGI.
Phenomenal CGI. And we talk about, the curse of the mummy and
Sorry, wrong franchise.
not the black
Sorry, wrong franchise.
Same
era.
The Book of the Dead and all this sort of stuff. And the fact that they were mummies. What we don't talk about really, there's a small scene of it where they talk about how they did mummification.
Oh, the process.
The process of. So the process
How
of
to mummify for dummies.
Yes,
That's the episode.
They really
that's the
did.
episode title.
That's pretty much what the Book of the Dead is how to mummify. No, it's not.
Oh.
It's all
Well,
incantations.
you had me fooled.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
But the Book of the Dead all talks about all the incantations.
Oh, great word.
Right, thank you.
Great word.
But mummification is the process of preserving the body after death by deliberately drying it and turning it into aged to perfection and turning it into beef jerky.
Dry aged human.
Yes.
Actually, you can get kits to do that at Kmart, I think.
Really?
Yeah, pickle kits.
Oh, really?
Yes, there's one in a human-sized jar.
With a face on the front.
Yeah, it's smiling weirdly.
Anyway, so deliberately drying or embalming the flesh was the idea of...
Embalming.
So this typically
Look
involves...
at you and your words
Thank
this
you.
episode.
Thank you very much. I did the research.
Must be nice.
But it typically involved removing the moisture from the deceased body and using chemicals and preservatives. Such as resin to dehydrate and ointments to dehydrate the flesh and organs.
Sorry, as soon
That's
as
right.
you said resin, I think of someone in a table.
Oh,
You imagine Han Solo in the carbonite, but if it was clear and someone's table in their coffee table. just a conversation piece.
do you know how I got this body in my table?
Is that a person in your table? No, it's fine. No.
It was a person.
was
Now it's a piece of furniture.
Now it's a bot. Yes. Anyway,
I think it was an ottoman.
I love what you've done with the place. It matches the drapes.
That was good.
Yeah, thank you.
That's fun.
Thank you so much. This is why I'm here. You give
Now,
the knowledge and I just
This
say
is
stuff.
true. Now,
Yeah.
the Egyptians weren't the only ones and not necessarily the first.
Oh, they've really patented, haven't they? We need to
They
call
did
them
actually.
out.
Well, they're the most famous for doing to
They
mummifying.
popularised
They
it.
popularized it. They brought it into the
The mainstream.
the mainstream.
Yeah.
But there are various cultures that have been known to mummify the dead. So, like we said, very well known are the ancient Egyptians, but the Chinese, the ancient people of the Canary Islands, the Guanakes, and the pre-Columbian societies in South America. My apologies. So the Incas actually practiced mummification as well.
Interesting. So why do they want to preserve these bodies?
So it depended on the different, or depending on the different cultures. So we know that, and I'll get into it later. So just as a little tidbit,
Little teaser.
obviously the ancient Egyptians did it to actually get into the afterlife. A lot of them did it because of the importance of these peoples.
Okay.
So they might have been, the chieftain of the Incas, and they were like, we're preserving them because they did great things. Or they might have been, it might have been as a, punishment.
Oh, okay.
For those that were,
So different culture, different
it
meaning.
could completely different.
But I guess the
meanings.
popular one is the get into the afterlife.
That's correct.
All right.
That's correct. So, like I said, the ancient Egyptians are the most famous of mummy makers.
Yes.
But
Sorry.
like
It's my favorite category.
mummy makers.
What are you doing, step mummy? I'm stuck in the tomb. And we've got him, ladies and gentlemen. My co-host JP.
What are you doing with those bandages, step bro? step Pharaoh.
I hate to know what they're doing with that long chin of
Just
theirs.
Brendan Fraser.
Oh wow! Well, now we're talking.
Now we're talking.
You're gonna fog the lens up, James.
Mummification.
Fix this.
So, like I said, the ancient Egyptians weren't the only ancient civilization to first, or even the first, to preserve their dead. So the Chinchorros, the people of northern Chile,
Oh, Chile.
developed Chile. Chile.
You say it how you say it.
I
mate.
do.
You're the man of the world.
Do you say vase or vase?
Vase.
You say vase.
Yes.
And I say vase.
Do you say dance or dance?
Dance.
Dance. Yeah.
Castle or castle?
Nigel Rowe. Now, Nigel Rowe, if you're watching this, mate,
He's
you
a-
need to pull your bloody head in.
He's a castle man, isn't he?
Castle.
The Drop Some Knowledge podcast, where we throw our friends under the bus.
You're welcome.
The Chinchorros, Josh.
Abuse him in the comments.
The Chinchorros were actually in northern Chile, developed mummification process around 5000 BC.
Okay.
Okay, so 2,000 years before the Egyptians. Then again,
Ooh.
who knows?
Who does?
I mean, we can go back to the whole,
Dinosaurs. Maybe not that far.
Well, I mean, they had more of a natural mummification.
Fossil.
I mean,
yeah,
it's
fossil.
a more natural sort of styling. But, so 5,000 BC. So 5,000 BC.
Wasn't there, but go on.
Apparently I was. So these mummies were the oldest in the world. Okay, and they're nothing like the famous Egyptian figures. So which are like, a bit more straight up
Still
and
quite
down.
erect.
Yes.
Yes. Doubt.
Yes. And, you know, a little bit looked after a little bit better. Obviously, depending on the amount of money that they threw into it.
Yes. Imagine how bad the movie would be if they were all falling apart.
Well, the chinchorros would actually dismember. So cutting off the limbs, okay? A bit like Dexter, kind of thing, you know?
I get it. Yeah, I understand.
And would also disembowel.
Oh, words.
So they would take everything out,
Yes.
okay? Disembowel the body completely.
Did they at least make a stew from this? Or they're just wasting
No,
organs?
they then attached the pieces back together using straw. So they got rid of all the internals.
Straw?
They got rid of all the internals and then put the body back together using straw.
Scarecrow.
A little bit, yeah. Plant fibers and sticks and things to put it together.
My God.
Then they were covered with this frame of black mud. Okay, so they would actually, stick all the mud back on them.
Okay.
And sculpted a human form of a face back
So they're making
onto
him
the
into a
face.
statue, basically.
Yeah. And it's other ornamentation and all of them all over them. But
They'll taxidermy them and then put concrete on the outside of them.
pretty much.
Oh,
Pretty much.
seems
And
a
they
bit,
were always
bit harsh.
They were always in, different sort of
Poses.
poses.
Interesting. Well, imagine
yeah.
walking into like the king's house and you see all the statues around the,
The
place.
gardens of just going through like a maze that they've just created.
Remember what episode we did when you put the people's heads on the spikes outside the castle?
Yeah. That
to
was
warn off the.
Yeah, that was our Dracula episode.
Yes, yes.
With Vladimir Tepes.
Oh, yes. The great man.
The great man himself.
Okay. So, Scarecrow statue, dead bodies.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. But we are going to focus a little bit more. Like, I will talk about some other. The majority of them were done by the Egyptians. A lot more information was talked about by the Egyptians.
We'll build up to that. Stay to the end to
Yes.
find out what the Egyptians did to the mummified bodies.
Take 2, part 2.
Yeah.
I got there. I said I wanted to say part 2. I was
No,
actually
we'll
going to
just do
say
it all into one episode. I
okay,
think,
fair
today,
enough.
if that's okay with you.
turn over to side B. So dating
Get your
back,
pencil out
yeah,
and
just
wind
pencil
the-
it out. Yeah, rewind it. Dating back
Yes.
to
So excited.
3,500 BC.
Yep.
Okay, so this is after the Chinchorros. Because we're going to focus a little bit more on the Egyptian styles. Little
Fantastic.
Egyptian styling, you know?
I
like
the
the
old jip and slip.
Egyptians. So their method to actually...
So meth head?
Yes,
Ah.
of mummification. Do you know much about the mummification process?
Can't say I've done it myself.
Okay.
It was going to be, in term 3 of my TAFE course, but I dropped down, went straight into the workforce.
Oh, good man.
So, yeah.
Most people should do... No, they don't do that.
What? I got a job at a morgue I really wanted to be at. I couldn't say no.
Specialising in mummification.
Correct.
So a metal rod
Oh, no.
was actually first pushed through the nasal cavity into the
Nasal
skull.
cavity?
Okay, so this is one of those ones that many people would have heard of before. So a rod with like a hook sort of end on it was pushed up the nasal cavity into the brain, into the skull.
Well, hang on. Are they're dead?
Oh, these people are dead. Yes,
Thank
these
God.
people are dead.
Yeah, still not great. But
No, but still, like you know.
Okay. So, yeah. Why are they doing this?
So that to actually remove the brain.
Oh, my God.
So what they would do is they would manipulate the rod a little bit and scoop out the brain through the nostrils.
Waffle or cup?
A waffle cone.
Well, okay.
It was
waffle
definitely
cone.
a
Good.
waffle
Yeah,
cone.
good.
But they would basically spin it around and make it a bit of like mush.
Like a pate.
Yeah, and then scoop it out.
Once
And it would
again,
come out.
put it on some toast with pomegranate or something like that. Like, they're just going to bin it, aren't they?
Well, no, they don't necessarily bin it because some of these organs, and I'll get to it later, they actually preserve them. Okay, and it's usually and these are sort of used in the passing onto the next life,
Passed on to the
into
next primary
afterlife.
school with
Yes.
one.
Yes.
They can,
Into the
those
senior school.
clear-
To the senior school.
So senior school. So they can, you've got those clear bodies that they've got all the organs and skeletons through, so you can see the inside of a body. It's like molded clear. They're actual people's brains. Did you know that? Did you know?
I think Harold the giraffe told me about that.
Healthy Harold.
Healthy Harold.
Yeah. Dr. Carl told me.
Dr. Carl.
Yeah, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah, okay. So,
Do you ever listen to the song The Earth is Tilted?
What?
It might be a Tasmanian thing.
The Earth is tilted.
So the Earth is on a slight tilt.
It's on an axis, yeah. It's on a slight axis.
So we had to listen. It was kind of like a Bill Nye the Science Guy. I don't know if it was Bill Nye and it was just a song in one of his shows or not.
Okay.
But basically, I remember our science teacher in year 9.
Sure.
9, yes.
Okay.
Put on a video, and it was basically the Earth is tilted. Boom, da, boom. Like it's like super opera.
I was just gonna say.
It wasn't soup opera, but it was a similar beat.
Yeah.
And it was just like the Earth is tilted, and just a whole song to teach you why the Earth is
I'm
tilted.
gonna have to look this one up. Does anybody else know the Earth is tilted?
Yes.
Has Kid Cudi done an Earth is tilted
a
remix?
little Yachty, I
Little Yachty?
believe.
Okay, sure.
Little.
I tried.
Yes. No,
I
you're
tried.
great youth culture reference, James.
Thank you very
Huzzah.
much. I don't remember. I don't even know what he does.
He drives a
Is he-
yacht.
Oh, okay.
He's a yachtsmith.
He's a yachtsman.
The flying yachtsman.
Flying yachtsman.
We're babbling.
They would liquefy the brain, Josh,
God.
by swirling around a stick into their skull and then pulling out and actually like draining the fluid from their brain through their nose. The rest of the organs were then removed and the body was hollowed out and was then cleansed with a mixture of spices and palm wine.
Palm wine.
Palm
Palm wine.
wine.
So why are they removing everything? Is it just to preserve the body, or they preserve the organs as well?
Both.
Both. So what's with the wine?
So the wine, it was more to do with drying out the skin.
And like a cleanse with the alcohol.
A bit of a cleanse, yes. So what
a
they would do,
detox, a body detox. This is very healthy for you.
So
I mean, you're dead, so it's not going to work. But
so the body was actually not after cleansed with these this wine and the spices and such, 11 herbs and spices,
11 herbs and wine.
a bit of lemon and herb.
Oh.
It was more to do with the religious ritual of getting the body ready and embalming. Okay. And then the body was then placed in natron, or a naturally occurring salt.
Oh.
And it would be left
Is
there
that what
to
the Himalayan
dry.
salt is?
It's
the
possible.
pink one?
The pink stuff, yeah.
It's weird.
And it would be left to dry for 40 days.
40 days and 40 nights. Phileas Fogg went around the world in 40 days and 40 nights. It was 80, I know.
It was
but
around
if
the
you
world in
combine the
80
days
days.
and the nights, that equals 80.
It does.
And he had a funny mustache.
He had a funny mustache. And did he have it? He had a fella named Passport 2 that hung out with him.
I did.
Who did Kung Fu.
Did do Kung Fu.
Were we thinking the same thing?
Was
Was his name Jackie Chan?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes. Absolutely, yes.
Great film.
Great film. Yes.
I keep forgetting that Arnold Schwarzenegger was in that
Was
movie.
he in
Yeah,
that?
he was.
Where? What did he do?
He was one of the princes.
Oh, the Turkish. When they
Yeah,
go
who
Turkey.
tried to keep the girl staying with them.
Oh, he was too. All right, we're watching that after this.
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
Oh.
But after the flesh was dehydrated and the body was wrapped in layers upon layers of linen.
Oh, lovely. At least they're classy about it.
Absolutely. And actually between each one of the layers, there was actually amulets and gems.
Amulet?
Amulets.
What is an amulet?
An
What's
amulet
with you with
is
these
like
words today, James? What have you been doing? Have you been reading a
I
thesaurus?
was just going to say, I've been using synonyms on my
Do you
word.
have you figured out how to use the App Store?
I have.
Okay.
I've
You're downloading lots of apps. Have you got Candy
Do you
Crush?
know how expensive a thesaurus is on the App Store?
No.
They're ridiculous.
$2.29.
$2.99.
Ongoing payments.
Ongoing
A
payments.
subscription.
And also, but every month you get a new word.
Oh, so just one at a time.
Just one at a
You pay
time.
for a month, you get Apple. You have to wait a month for a new word. Look at the build up.
Oh, mate, it's great.
Is it? It sounds great.
Terrible. Don't do it.
All right.
But
I won't.
but like I said, the priests would place amulets to aid the newly deceased into the afterlife, because the afterlife was a very serious thing.
It was
Okay.
the dog's bollocks.
So the top, the bee's knees and the dog's bollocks.
Yep.
The top coat of resin was applied to ensure protection from moisture. So as we know,
Like a varnish? Like an oil-
almost, yeah.
Interesting, shiny people.
Very shiny people.
Think about how slippery they'd be.
Mm.
Jeez, you got to be careful.
Juicy. What? That was a line from the movie, The Mummy.
Was it?
I've never seen anything like it. He's still, and then the two of them say at the same time, juicy.
I
because he's still decomposing.
I have not seen it for
Mate,
a
great
long
film.
time.
Get onto it.
Well, okay. After we watched Around the World in 80 Days.
Now, mummification wasn't just limited to people.
Oh,
Okay.
lovely.
So the ancient Egyptians used to mummify cats. And they were seen
they love cats, don't they?
Well, they were seen as the
Bloody
protectors
love
of
'em.
the underworld and the souls that reside there. Okay, and the ancient Egyptians believed that
You
cats
just
were
about to say ancient bejesus?
I was about to say Egyptians. The ancient Egyptians
Yes.
believed that cats were magical creatures capable of bringing good luck to the people who housed them.
Cats.
Yeah, and to honor these treasured pets, wealthy families dressed them in jewels and fed them treats. That
People
fit
still
royalty.
do that. So does that mean all of the people who dress their cats
Yeah.
up are basically
Yeah.
like Egyptian?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't like that.
But the ancient Egyptians also mummified other animals too,
Oh, well, at least
So
they're
I-
equal about it.
including bin chooks.
Bin chickens.
Yeah, ibis.
But
Ibises.
Who eats the garbage?
Oh, I don't know.
The streets would have been disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Hawks, snakes, crocodiles, and also
A
dogs.
snake would be cool.
So sometimes these were
Not the
buried
dogs,
with their
the dogs
owners.
are cool.
Okay, sometimes they were buried with their owners.
Crocodiles, did you say?
Yep, yeah. Or as a food supply for the afterlife. But most common animals, mummies, were offered and brought by visitors to temples to present to the gods. So it's like, oh, here's my mummified cat, Mittens.
Mittens.
And I'm going to just be like, here you go,
It's,
Horace.
Horatio, its eyes are still moving, and it's meowing inside of its lacquer coverage.
It's just a flesh wound.
Yes, look, we didn't have time to slaughter the animal.
No.
But we dipped it in resin.
We made sure it was okay.
Yes. I don't know why I put a British accent on for that.
But we're talking about how, when they actually take out all the organs.
Yes.
So they're actually
Get 'em out.
They're actually put into canopic jars, and canopic jars are usually these wooden or not wooden. Sorry, they're porcelain jars or stone jars that are filled with oils and ointments and
Oh,
things.
lovely.
And,
Essential oils?
yeah, and the brain, the liver, the kidneys,
They're
the
the
heart.
ones that you stick the sticks in the top of and they smell nice when you walk into someone's house.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, lovely smell. What have you got? Brain and blood.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's good stuff.
Pungent. Gamey.
The only organ that wasn't put in these canopic jars was actually the heart,
Interesting.
because the heart
Why?
needed to be left in order to be weighed.
Oh.
Do you remember this?
We did. Give me a quick
Yeah.
reminder. Give the listeners a reminder. But I
Okay,
do remember
so
this.
the heart was weighed against a feather.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
And if it were, this is
If
so
the heart was
stupid.
heavier than the feather, they weren't allowed into the afterlife.
So nobody got in.
No one got in. Everybody was filled with sin.
What weighs more,
They're
10
horrific.
kilos of hearts or 10 kilos of feathers?
It's too hard. Now,
Bring it down.
there are also some pretty weird and creepy facts about our lovely rappers. Yeah?
Rappers?
Get it?
Oh, like
Get it?
Lil Nas X,
Yeah. Pharaoh,
Tupac?
Pharaoh Nas X, and Pharaoh Tupac.
Lil Tutankhamun.
Little Tupac. But did you get?
Skin it. That's what they do. Rapping about all the myrrh they've got.
Oh, jeez. So the mummy.
I got mummies, I got bandages, yeah. Can you tell I'm white?
We're putting together a band.
Putting together a band. We've been working at this for longer than you guys would know. Our
Long
latest single is
time.
going to be out on Spotify on September 23rd. Pre-save link in our bio.
2028.
2048.
Yeah, fair.
We just wrote the first verse.
The Mummy of King Ramses the Second, Josh.
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
He was actually issued an Egyptian passport.
Ramsey was?
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's
when they
good
were
'cause he can go into the tomb and get his black light out and see all the stains on the walls.
Oh. What?
Have you seen Hotel Hell?
Yes.
Yeah.
But what?
Well, Gordon Ramsay rocks up. Hello, darling. What? Beef Wellington? No, that is not a beef Wellington. Let me get my black light out and check and see if this is a hygienic surface for preparing the bodies. Oh, egats! There is semen all over the walls. Sir, that is not semen. That's actually a fallopian tube.
I'm going to stop you now.
Yes, stop me. I'm a runaway train.
I'm going to stop you now. The mummy of King Ramses II was issued an Egyptian passport.
James, you proud of me?
Sometimes.
Just say it.
Sometimes.
No, I need you to say it.
Yes. Not always.
Oh, God.
The passport listed his occupation as king, and in quotations,
Oh.
deceased.
I would say all Ramses are the same. Deceased?
Deceased. Well, Ramses. King Ramses was a pharaoh.
Oh,
Like
we're
three-
thinking about a
Like
completely different
4,000
Ramses.
years ago.
Oh, well,
More than.
my bad. That's on me, and I take responsibility for the confusion.
Okay, I will take your apology.
Yeah? And do what with it?
Continue. The mummy was
Probably for the
received
best.
at one of the French airports outside Paris
Mm.
with full military honours to befit a king.
Oh, fantastic. A
Okay.
jubilee.
A jubilee. Scientists have actually discovered 2, and in quotations, Frankenstein mummies in Scotland.
Ah, near.
So these are about 3,000 years old, the mummified bodies. One was a male and one a female. And they're actually made from the remains of 6 different people.
So they stitched people together.
They probably had found, look, and I'm only speculating.
This is like Mr. Potato Head with people.
Yeah, but I reckon what they've done is they've actually found a grave site of lots of bodies, and they've only found certain parts that they've put together.
We're not looking at a man's look.
Oh, look, yeah.
At a bloody man's look.
It's like,
you bloody did.
this is all we've got. And then they look 2 meters to their left, and it's like, oh, there's the rest of them.
Yes. The sacrificial match starts in
Yes.
half an hour.
Yes.
We cannot keep looking for these parts. We must go. I've got tickets. We've got a
I've
corporate
got to
box.
go to the stoning.
Yes.
So did you know
Oh.
a certain sect of Japanese Buddhist monks called the Soka Shinbusto
Good.
prepared their bodies to be naturally mummified after death?
They prepared their own body.
Yes.
So they'd stand there and rub themselves
just-
with wine and straw.
11 herbs and spices.
Yes, I marinate.
No. So they would live on only nuts and seeds
Oh.
and go through rigorous physical activity to get rid of all their body fat.
Shredding.
Yeah.
Like Jason
Like-
Statham.
Shredding for mummification.
Unbelievable. Well, look, that's now at least I have a new fitness goal.
And then what they would do is they would actually drink a lot of poisonous tea
That's not
that
good.
would not only cause a rapid loss of body fluids, but it also made it impossible for insects and worms to eat the flesh of the corpse.
Oh, okay. So you're
They-
sort of like dry aging yourself.
Pretty much. And then what they would do is they would then lock themselves in tombs and eventually die there. Obviously,
Yeah.
this is now banned in Japan, but
Well,
it was
that's good.
definitely something that they did.
Okay.
Right?
People complain about the world these days, James.
I have
And look,
noticed.
we fully acknowledge that there are issues with the world.
Yes. We're not
But let's
perfect.
also acknowledge that, thank God, we don't do that anymore. And so much stuff. And so much stuff.
There's so many
much stuff that
things.
we've learned through so many episodes
Yep.
of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
The ancient Romans.
Yes.
And all that sort of, even the Rasputin
Yeah.
and that sort of stuff. Thank God we don't do some of that crazy stuff because it's wild.
It's
like,
true.
what were these people thinking? Because you know, if you're
Shits and
a
giggles.
Japanese man, right, and you're
Yes.
like, I'm gonna drink all this stuff to dry
Right.
the inside of my body,
Yep.
and eat all this food to lose a lot of weight rapidly.
Turn myself into human beef jerky.
Correct.
Yeah, gotcha.
At what point does your fully developed human brain go, I don't want to do that?
Yeah, but
That's painful.
Yeah, but this is the whole religious sect.
I know,
grouping.
but
they all thought that this was the right way of doing stuff.
yeah, but when it starts to hurt and be painful, wouldn't they be like, nah, she'll be right?
Well, I mean, the whole religion thing, and like Buddhists are known for being able to, put pain aside and kind of don't feel these things. I mean, I feel like there's that much of a belief in what they are doing. And we've spoken about this lightly before. There's so much of a belief in what they are doing is right. And it feels good to do these things. Anyway, we're not going to go into that because I want to talk about Tutankhamun. Okay. Did you know he had an erect penis?
Did you know you're tooting my Carmen?
Interesting.
Oh, go on.
Go on. So, no, King Tutankhamun, his mummy had an erect penis.
Did he request that on his will?
I don't know. Is that like
Imagine if you could there's a form and you can request poses. Imagine that.
if you could have an open casket for your funeral, what would your pose be?
It'd be the Usain Bolt lightning bolt, I'd say.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. You have to get a very funny shaped coffin though.
Yeah. Yeah, you would actually.
Why don't we normalize unusual shaped coffins?
I would, you know how when you've got the coffin and only one half is open?
Oh, yeah.
I'd have my feet up that end.
People just look at your feet.
It's like, what?
Yuck.
What?
You've got thongs on.
My Bunnings trade thongs.
Thongs.
Well, no, Havaianas. Got to get some Havaianas.
You got Havaianas.
Or some Nike slides. Or Adidas slides.
You got Yeezys.
Yeezys.
Take it easy.
Take your Yeezys.
I'll take your Yeezys.
Now, speaking of Tutankhamun.
At the train station bar.
Oh, jeez. Direct me lighter. So, speaking of Tutankhamun.
You go on, my leg's cramping.
Okay.
Oh.
Lord Carnarvon, who actually provided the finances for the excavation of Tutankhamun's pyramid, died of blood poisoning only a few months after the tomb was opened.
That's because they're eating all that stuff that's meant to kill them.
Well, yeah. And apparently...
Well, I could have told him that.
Apparently, even his pet dog, who was at home in England...
Oh, yes.
Dropped dead at the same moment.
Wow.
And this was actually... This actually was the incident that started the curse of Pharaoh's tomb.
Okay, well.
So the curse of the Pharaoh, or mummy's curse, is a curse allegedly cast upon anyone who disturbs any of the mummies. Okay. And especially of the Pharaoh.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a tier here.
Yeah, there is definitely a tier.
Order.
Yes. So the curse, which does not differentiate between thieves and archaeologists, unfortunately, is claimed to cause bad luck, illness, or even death.
Seems severe.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And we'll go on a little bit further because Sir Bruce Ingham was presented with a mummified hand from King Tut's pyramid by his friend Howard Carter.
Oh, it's so nice.
Now, a bracelet was around the wrist of the hand that had, "Cursed be he who removes my body. To him shall come fire, water, and pestilence," engraved on it.
Well,
does that not make you think maybe I shouldn't remove this?
Possibly, but what I would say is if it's going to bring fire, then water, the fire will be extinguished quite quickly.
Are you ready for this? Ingham's house, so remember,
like
Curse of the Pharaoh, yes, Curse of the Pharaoh. Ingham's house completely burnt down in a fire and the remains were washed away by flood.
Exquisite timing. Exquisite timing. It seems like an inside job, though, if you ask me.
Yes. In Fag el Gamus.
What did you call me?
An ancient Egyptian burial ground for the common folk.
Ah, the peasants.
Okay, the peasants.
Yes.
It actually contained the naturally mummified bodies.
Pit.
Well, pretty much.
Oh, God.
But it actually contained the natural mummified bodies of over 1 million people.
Yeah. They're probably just all going to mold together, aren't they?
Yeah, a little bit.
Like they probably just throw them into a pit.
Just like those Scottish bodies that they found that were like kind of, Frankensteined together.
Yeah,
and then finally, there's a 9th century cemetery called Cachilia in Peru that is home for hundreds of crouched Nazca mummies. So like the Egyptian pyramids, the graves in this cemetery had plenty of offerings to help the dead pass the time, I guess. Very comfortably, of course.
Like a nice lounge at an airport or something.
Exactly. But the mummies in this cemetery were so well preserved because of the extensive uses of resin to keep away worms and in the arid climate, obviously.
Of course.
That the soil had helped in the natural mummification. So they were very well preserved and they'd been there for thousands of years.
Oh, good bet.
Excuse me. Thousands of years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean...
So mummification's been around for a very long time.
Very
long time.
Bring it back.
Yeah, why not?
Bring it back. Is taxidermy mummification? I guess it's not because you're preserved.
Well, taxidermy I feel is something very similar, but it's not that sort of a preservation.
You're right. There's no resin. Well, there might be resin. I don't know. I haven't done it.
I don't know. Maybe we can have a look at taxidermy.
Maybe we can do a short online course,
Okay.
which is reasonably priced through the government website. So please visit vic.gov.org to find out what government-funded TAFE courses you can apply for. Not sponsored. Sponsored.
Just make sure you spell out taxidermy, not just tax, because we'll come up with the ATO.
Yeah, you're right. Don't go through the ATO for this course.
Don't go through the ATO
Or
website.
do.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, we're in July.
Are we?
Yeah, we're in July now.
Well, I'm going to go do my taxes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening to the episode.
Mummification.
Mummification.
Get around it.
Search that on various websites.
Watch The Mummy.
Watch The Mummy.
Watch The Mummy.
And then watch The Scorpion King.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Good movie.
Well, we're going to go and watch Around the World in 80 Days with Phyllis Fogg
And Passport 2.
and Passport 2, which, looking back, when 15 years on,
Yep.
very strange name.
It is a very strange name. He did make it up on the spot, though.
You're right, he did. But
Yeah.
to roll with it for a whole movie,
Good job.
to roll with it for 80 days,
He's done well.
not bad. So this week, guys, JP is going to sign us off in Egyptian.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.
No, James, no. I know that's not.
That was
real.
Arabic, but that was as close as I've got.
What do you think the person would be saying while they're getting wrapped? Yeah, I should have seen that coming.
Yep.
See you guys.
Bye.